We were pretty famous back in high school. Trust us!
Had a whole future ahead of us, but now we suck.
All that potential now is flowing in the aqueducts.
Through the sands of time, many did forget.
But now our time has come to resurrect. But a podcast?
Sad I know, but can you blame us?
We are desperate to be much more than high school famous. Yellow.
Oh, okay. I didn't.
Oh, are we waiting for like
I hit record and then I was like, wait, is it recording?
Are we waiting for silence for a second?
There. We've done it. Silence achieved.
Silence achieved.
All right.
It reminds me of every time I try to tell a joke.
Every time you try to tell one or every time you finish one?
Well, I suppose you're right. Every time I finish a joke, it turns into silence. Welcome to High School Famous. Ever heard of the guy who used to stand outside the juniors' locker room? Yeah, me neither. Because every week for 8 years, we went to the same high school, and junior year, I couldn't even stand outside the boys' locker room. I am your host, Sean.
So, wait. So are you the guy that nobody remembers standing outside the juniors' locker room?
I don't know. That
was a very confusing intro.
It is. It's you can blame artificial intelligence on this one.
Oh, I blame artificial intelligence on everything.
A lot of things. Yeah.
No. I'm Matt.
Oh yes, Matt is Matt. Let's get that out of the way.
Yeah,
we're all aware of who Matt is. We don't need reminders.
So then, why are we introduced? If everybody already knows who we are,
well,
why do we ever introduce ourselves?
I still need to introduce myself because no one knows who I am. But everyone.
Oh, everybody knows who I am.
Yeah, whether it be for positive or negative reasons. Everyone, right. You're unforgettable. We'll say that.
That's nice.
So there's something I tried to corroborate some little meme I saw, which would be awesome if it were true. And the only thing I was able to find, it was very generic. It says that a news reporter asked Michael Jordan something. So they never seemed to name the news reporter, and I couldn't seem to find the actual interview or whatever where this would have taken place. So that leads me to believe it's fake. But did you hear the whole thing about Michael Jordan being asked about the LeBron James Lakers, like the current LeBron James Lakers team, and whether or not he thinks that his 90s Bulls team could beat them?
Oh, no.
So here's what it says, and if it's true, it's awesome. A news reporter asked MJ if he thought the 90s Bulls could beat LeBron's Lakers. MJ said yes. Reporter said, by how much? And MJ just said 2 or 3 points. And the reporter said, why such a close game? And then MJ says, well, most of us are almost 60 now.
Nice.
Yes. And, with what I've heard out of Michael Jordan, I completely see him saying this because of how confident and arrogant he is. But I thought that was a pretty awesome response. If this was true, I tried to search for it. This popped up as like a meme on a social feed or something.
Right.
And so I tried to find where this actually happened. I couldn't find anything that really specifically named the reporter or what sort of news broadcast or wherever this came from. I couldn't exactly corroborate the source, but
even if he didn't come up with it, pretty clever.
Yeah, somebody came up with it.
Yeah, somebody came up with it.
So why not MJ?
Why not MJ?
Why not MJ?
Well, there you go.
The other thing I just wanted to
if anybody can confirm, please let us know. If
anyone saw or heard or read the original version of this statement,
or Michael Jordan,
Jordan personally, and you feel like and you listen to us,
cool.
Let us know. Is this
if you are Michael Jordan?
Yeah, if you're Michael Jordan,
if you're that reporter,
if you're anyone from the LeBron Lakers, because I'm sure they would have heard about it.
Whatever, if you work for whatever website that was posted on.
Yeah, it doesn't even say that. Nothing. I couldn't find anything that. Yeah, it didn't name a website. It didn't name like a publication. It didn't name the reporter's name. It didn't name
if you're Scottie Pippen,
right? Yeah, if you're
Dennis Rodman,
if you're that
any
white guy,
of the others,
the white guy that was on the team, shot a lot of 3-pointers.
That white guy, poor white people that play basketball. If you're not Larry Bird, you're just that white guy.
Yeah, pretty much. I hear stories about how Bird was nasty. Like he was. Oh yeah, he just trash talked people. Yeah,
nasty.
Nickname was Nasty Boy.
Nasty Boy.
Nasty Boy from Boston. You nasty Boston boy.
Ooh, he's so nasty.
Are you? This is the other thing I just wanted that I saw recently that made me laugh. and by recently I mean just like half an hour ago. You're familiar with Paul Rudd and his infamous appearances on Conan's show over the years, and his go-to thing. So I had seen this when it happened, but I forgot all about it. When Conan was doing his final week of shows on his TBS show, so he's done doing that. He had, and the greatest thing about this is Paul Rudd was not even the guest.
Right.
He pulled this out. Have you seen this clip where he comes in?
I believe so. Wasn't it like Bill Hader or somebody was there?
So this is so ingenious. Bill Hader was the guest, and they're going on about some sketch that didn't get past dress rehearsal because it didn't get a single laugh in the audience. And then he's blaming Paul Rudd for not doing a certain silly voice. Like they were imitating somebody. And Bill Hader was doing the voice, but Paul Rudd supposedly wasn't. So then Paul Rudd surprises everyone, comes out in a tux, and he goes on to explain his side of things. But then he's like, and luckily for everyone, they film the dress rehearsals. So does we have, does anybody want to see it? And then of course the audience, he's so believable. I wonder how many people there were like, oh, we're going to get to see this clip, or how many people will know what's coming. Right. So he goes on and he begins to play the Mac and Me clip where the kid in the wheelchair falls off the cliff into the water, and then the alien just sort of pops up and has a surprised look on his face. And Conan laughs his head off because I think he either pretends to get fooled every time or he gets fooled every time.
Right.
But then, so he does it. He does it. He's not even the guest. He comes out. He shows his clip as a surprise on the last week of his shows. But then he starts to go on and go. He starts to sort of tell the story of that, him bringing that clip in.
Right.
And he starts to talk about how he was sort of waffling between this clip and some other clip from some other movie he thought was really ridiculous.
Right.
And so he's like, because it's your last week of shows, I thought I would bring the clip that I was going to choose, but then went with Mac and Me instead. And then they run the clip, and it's the Mac and Me clip again.
Of course.
So he's not even the guest on the show. He comes on, pretends to show a SNL clip, and then pretends to show the alternate Mac and Me clip. And I thought, it's just, I'm sad it's over. Because I think he only did that. I'm not aware, but I think he only did that on Conan.
I'm pretty sure, yeah. And it was literally every single. I'm trying to think if there was ever a time he showed a real clip of anything. I think one time for Ant-Man, he showed
that weird. Was it that weird?
It was like a spliced clip though, because it still had. It was still Mac and Me, but then there was little Ant-Man footage like put into it.
See, I think he would have been good if over time, if he started off, instead of maybe splicing a tiny bit of Ant-Man into the Mac and Me clip, start off with a legit clip from the movie he's promoting, and then quickly cut away from that. It might have been that.
That might have been how it was. I can't remember exactly how it went, but I believe only, and I'm not 100%, but that's the only time I can think of that he actually showed anything outside of that Mac and Me clip on Conan for all of his appearances.
Yeah. I think even his very first appearance, he showed the Mac and Me clip. Like, so what, I mean, who knows how well known he was when he was first on Conan? I don't know if he would have done anything beyond like Clueless or something.
I mean, he'd done a few things, but yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to research when his first Conan appearance ever was and what it was promoting. What
was your, when did you become sort of aware of Paul Rudd? What was your intro to him?
Oh boy. It might have been Clueless, or there was a movie he was in that I can't think of the title of, but it was like, it was some movie where he was like sending a package to he was like sending some package to his girlfriend to like break up with her or whatever. And then like he had to try to go intercept it. And I can't remember if it was like called like express delivery or like overnight delivery or something.
Okay. I don't know what that is.
I remember that movie. And then, just recently remembered he was in Romeo and Juliet.
The DiCaprio movie?
Yeah.
Baz Luhrmann?
Yep.
I did not know that. I don't think I've actually seen that all the way through.
It's all right.
And the funny thing is, it was a few years ago that I did actually finally see the ending to that movie. And that's how I actually found out how the Romeo and Juliet story ends. I never knew how it ended.
Oh, really?
Just the story itself, not let alone a movie to telling the story. I didn't know that the one, like, because she thought he was dead. She poisoned herself, but then he woke up and then had to watch her die, or whatever it was. I had no idea that. I thought it was just like they couldn't be together because their families didn't get along, and so they just wanted to be together, but they couldn't.
So he just killed himself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Clueless was his first movie.
Okay, but he probably did. Maybe he did some guest spots on TV shows or something before that. I bet you did commercials.
Probably. Yeah, he was on television a bit before that. But yeah, Clueless, and then Overnight Delivery. That's what it was.
Okay.
Cider House Rules. I remember him in that. Wet Hot American Summer. Those are some of his earlier movies. He was in Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers.
I think I knew that. I would say that my intro, because I'm pretty sure I had seen at least parts of Clueless, but didn't really remember him or notice him at all. So I would say Wet Hot American Summer was my
that was your first
Paul Rudd intro.
Okay.
And then I remember seeing him in Anchorman.
Yeah, I think Anchorman was the big one.
That kind of put him on the map.
Yeah, that's where he kind of blew up for sure.
That was when...
It's crazy to think that I didn't realize Knocked Up came out like 3 years after Anchorman. And 40-Year-Old Virgin was after Anchorman. I thought those were before.
I would have thought that 40-Year-Old Virgin was before, but Knocked Up, I wouldn't be able to place it. I would have assumed that Knocked Up was afterward.
Okay.
That and like Superbad, but Superbad, I forget if that was before or after Knocked Up. I want to say it was
as far as movies that Seth Rogen was in.
Yeah, or just as far as those two movies go, which one came out first?
Oh, okay, yeah. I think Superbad came out after. God, I don't remember.
Who cares?
Yeah, I don't know why we're so focused on that.
But the funny thing about Anchorman was it was kind of like the movie that kind of showed the real Will Ferrell, and it looked everything was so promising, but then you just got over. Like there was way too many Will Ferrell movies that came out after that.
Yeah,
everyone seems to revere and love, but I get irritated when people talk about them.
Like Talladega Nights, and
the other big one is Step Brothers.
Step Brothers, I enjoyed that movie.
Well, how many movies can you watch Will Ferrell just act like an immature jerk?
Yeah,
and think it's funny.
But I think of all of the movies where he acts like that. Step Brothers is probably one of the better ones, just because what's his name? The other guy that's in it.
John C. Reilly.
Yeah, John C. Reilly. John C. Reilly's so good in that as well. So them two playing off each other makes that movie way more enjoyable.
See, I had seen John C. Reilly. He was always like a supporting in supporting roles in some stuff, and I really liked the stuff I'd seen him in, and so I kind of got a little off put by him sort of trying to jump on the Will Ferrell train and be this silly, weird, goofy, dumb comedic actor. And then he did like Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, which he's now like the lead in some silly, stupid, goofy comedy.
Right.
I thought it was a little bit beneath him, and it seemed a little bit desperate to me. But
well, yeah, because he was always kind of doing more,
dramatic,
non-comedic roles in a lot of stuff. Before that. Because I always think it's weird to remember that he was in like Gangs of New York and shit. I'm like, oh yeah, he's in this, and he's actually really good as a dramatic actor. He's in that. He's in Chicago, and I know he's in that. He's in Magnolia too, wasn't he?
I don't remember. It's been a long time since I've seen that one.
Yeah,
I know. Are you getting him mixed up? He might be.
I think he's in Magnolia.
He could be. There's a lot of people in that movie. So
he's like a cop or something, maybe? I don't remember.
I could see that. But if it's not Tom Cruise, who cares, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scientology all the way.
But he's also in that movie about that comedy duo, Stan and Ollie or whatever.
Oh, for Oliver and Hardy or whatever?
Yes. He's one of those. He's one of the leads in that movie too, which I have not seen still, and I really want to.
I haven't seen it either.
But So I was kind of put off by that little run where he was just sort of being Will Ferrell's sidekick. Although wasn't he just in Step Brothers and that's it? As far as Will Ferrell, John C. Reilly duos, or were there more?
No. There's Talladega Nights.
Oh, and then there was
there was like that Sherlock Holmes movie they did together.
I thought of that once I said it. So I guess you're right. There was this little run where he's just like playing second fiddle to Will Ferrell, and I'm like, you're better than this. Like you've already. But I guess he must have done it because he just wanted to. He's already a well-established.
I'm sure they were fun movies to make.
Yeah, probably. But no.
It's like even the shittiest movies, I'm sure they're just a blast making them. Like I wouldn't mind being in an awful movie because I'm sure I'd have a great time making it.
Well, yeah.
Maybe. I'm sure there's plenty of movies that are very fun to make.
Well, I mean, yeah. Whenever you're in a crazy location and the hours are long and like weather sucks and there's crazy night shoots and it's really
or just terrible crew, terrible director.
How would you feel about you hear about action movies where there's so much choreography and you have to get in a certain level of shape and you have to take all this fight training? Obviously, if you're at that level, it's going to be worth it to you because you're getting paid millions of dollars. But do you think you would have like the discipline to go through all that rigorous training and restrictive diet and all this stuff to get in this right kind of shape to make one of these movies?
I think if it was my job to do that, yeah. If they were like, all right, I'm getting paid whatever amount, you don't have to pay me millions. Give me
$6,000.
Well, no, I would love to make a livable wage off of a movie role. So even if they paid,
$100,000,
like you're going to make $100,000 on this movie. All right. But we need you to every morning, you got to go to the gym, work out. You got to eat the specific thing. We're going to give you a trainer. I'd be like, fucking yeah, I'll do it.
I suppose you're right. Because
that's my hardest part about me getting in shape on my own because I have to do it on my own.
That's what I was just going to say. A lot of it is not so much like self-motivation. It's
like, this is my job now.
They'll hire like a chef and a food nutritionist to like recommend what you eat and prepare your food for you. And then they'll probably send a trainer to your house and you don't even have to go anywhere. So yeah, they'll make it so a lot of the work that steers people away from that kind of commitment, they bring it to you. Yeah. So
I'd be 100% for it.
Because then you get to
sure.
Because then you get to walk out of it going like, man, I'm in the best shape of my life.
Yeah,
and that's also
I'm in great
a bonus.
shape. And now I know how. Plus, at that point too, that becomes such a routine that then there's a better chance that you're going to continue doing that on your own. Maybe not quite to that like movie standard level, but at least like staying in shape.
You can keep a maintained level of physique that you can be satisfied with.
Then you're going to know. Yeah, you're going to know what you need to eat to maintain that at that point. You're going to know what kind of workouts to at least keep yourself trim and thin, so that if you ever need to build the muscle back up, it's a lot easier.
Yeah, and you can know what to avoid so you don't spill back into, oh crap, my jeans don't fit anymore.
Yeah.
So
the constant struggle.
Now, where do you sit on something like Christian Bale and was it The Machinist or whatever, where he basically got to about 110 pounds or something crazy like that?
Method acting stuff is like that is so dangerous because it was like immediately after he did that movie, he did Batman. So he had to bulk up quite a bit.
Yeah. But then
so it's like, that takes such a toll on your body.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what'd he do?
He was Cheney in a movie, right? Wasn't he?
He was Cheney in a movie. He gained all that weight. Yeah. I think he did it for, what was that? Can't remember what that other movie was. There was another movie where he had to gain a bunch of weight for pretty shortly after that and then take it back off to do Batman again. It was just like
so much.
It takes such a toll on your body to be just gaining and losing weight like that.
Who played the guy that shot Lennon? He gained a bunch of weight for that, right? Was it Leto?
No idea.
Was it Jared Leto?
Oh, maybe.
Fun movie facts.
Yeah, it's crazy. The weight gain and loss and all that crap. It's like,
cause I'll sit here and I'm trying to like, get down to a certain weight right now. And I'm like, just like, it's
a struggle, man.
I'm not really like working at it. I'm just sort of not eating so much, not like an unhealthy point. I'm eating.
Right.
But, sometimes in the middle of that, I'm like, oh, this is too hard. I want to eat.
Oh yeah.
Give me that pizza. Give me that cake.
Like, I do that exact thing where it's like, okay, I'm going to start my diet or my exercise plan and I'm really good at it for like the first couple weeks. And then it's just like you have a bad day or something. So you're just like, oh, I'm not going to worry about it today.
Yeah.
And then it was like, then the next day you don't worry about it. Then the next day you don't worry about it. And you just it just falls apart almost immediately.
What happens to me is I'll get below a certain threshold and I'm pleased with myself. I'm like, hey, I got this far. Let me reward myself. And then I'm just like shoving tons of candy in my face. And then the next morning I'm like, okay, that was a bad idea. So, but then you're like, you sort of, if you go even if you do one day of just like, okay, all of the meals you have are like pretty heavy and you eat crap in between, you like get used to that intake. So the next day you're like hungry. You're hungrier than you really are because you're like, I need this.
Because your stomach's stretched out a bit.
Yeah.
So I had lost all that weight I think I was at my lowest. It was like the end of 2017 is when I had kind of lost all that weight. So I started that weight loss journey, like, God, it was probably like the January of 16, I think, is when I first started kind of like, I was doing some calorie counting and stuff, and I dropped a bunch really quick because I was at like 250, 260, somewhere in there is where I'd gotten up to.
Sure. And
so I did that, started counting calories. You drop a ton real quick as soon as you change your eating habits. All of a sudden, your body's just like, just starts eating up all the fat restores that it has.
And also, it's like the more you weigh, the quicker it starts. Because you watch that show, like My 600-Pound Life or whatever.
Yeah.
They're dropping like
fast
80 pounds in a few weeks, and it's crazy because
because your body's just like, well, you're not intaking as much, so now we need to eat up what we've been holding on to.
Yep.
So I fucking kicked ass, and I was down to like 170 in there somewhere.
Yeah.
And I hadn't weighed that little since like before high school.
Yeah.
So like that was to me the best shape I had been in forever. And then, then it was like, I kind of like eased off a little bit. So then it was just like, then I was kind of floating in and out of like, 10 to 15 pounds up or back down, and kind of float like a 15-pound window that I was kind of floating back and forth with for a while.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit and it just went all to hell. Cause then it was like, I wasn't getting out of the house.
Yep.
I wasn't biking as much as I was. I kind of stopped counting my calories altogether. And then it was just kind of like, well, just sitting at home. Now I'm bored. And you just fucking chips and pasta and and now it's like, ugh.
There are definitely two types of ways that was handled. Some people used it to get in great shape, and some people did the opposite. Which I was.
I feel like I think more people did the opposite of just kind of like, well, I'm just gonna sit around now. What am I gonna do? And it's like, because I never had a workout routine. My workouts were just biking. And when I had lost all that weight, I was biking a ton. I was just biking like to and from work every single day. Plus I was counting my calories. So I ended up like burning, like there was days where I burned more calories than I ate.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was, and then it's, plus it helped that for a long time I didn't have a car. So I kind of had to bike everywhere. So that was very helpful, but then bought a car. So then I started driving more, and then COVID. And so I was like not biking because I was,
afraid to die.
The point. Well, it got to the point where I had to make a decision when I was biking during COVID of, do I risk biking along the lake and dealing with all the people that aren't wearing masks, or do I bike on the street and risk getting killed by a car? Because that almost happened several times as well.
Yeah. Yeah, there was one time I was walking around a lake, and I remember there were a bunch of other people walking and biking. And so anytime someone I'd be passing by someone that going the other way, I'd hold my breath while still walking, which
I had a mask thing that I would wear during those times when I would bike, but it was still like, it just still got to the point. And the crazy thing I think it had to be a lot of just because people either weren't working, because a lot of people were put on furlough or lost their jobs during all of that beginning stages and stuff.
Yeah.
But the lakefront trail was packed all the time.
You're muted.
Sorry, I bumped my mouse button.
I heard. I heard lakefront whatever was packed all the time. So
I was constantly dealing with just people walking on the bike trail, on the bike paths, because a lot of the path is shared, and then a lot of the path splits off where the walking path goes off a different direction.
Yeah.
And the other side's biking and rollerblading and whatever.
Yeah.
But people would just be walking on the bike trails, or they'd be crossing the bike trails without looking, or just all this other stuff. I dealt with people just suddenly stopping on the bike trails for no reason, unannounced. So then you're like slamming on your brakes, or I almost took a kid out a couple of times. Just super irritating. But this year, the few times I went out on the bike trail, it wasn't as bad. I was going to go out today, but it was like looking like it was going to rain. Now it looks like it's not going to rain. So I'm a little bummed, but.
Well, maybe, I mean, would you be able to go after this?
Depends on timing, maybe. It still looks really gloomy out, but whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I never get to like a crazy high weight, but you know, for me, it doesn't distribute evenly. And I'm a smaller framed fella, so the little, you know, when a little bit does add on, it doesn't look great, just because of my body type.
It's all in your neck and face.
Yep.
Just
I look like
wide neck.
Yeah, I look like a bobblehead, and
like a weeble.
I know they're popular, but maybe I should say I look like a pop. What are the a pop?
A Funko Pop,
yes,
or whatever they're called.
Funko Pop. Maybe I should say I look like a Funko Pop.
Be weird if that's how people were really shaped.
Well, I mean,
just super.
It would be normal,
big heads
for us.
Well, yeah, but thinking of it, since it's not normal, it would be weird.
Nice. Okay, I'm glad we both paused to write something down at that exact moment.
Yeah, why not? I honestly was just writing over the top of something I'd already written.
Oh, so useful use of the time. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Great. What else is happening? What internet memes have caught your attention?
Oh God,
lately?
Nothing. I found myself scrolling through TikTok a bit more the last couple of days, but it's nothing interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I'd found one thing that something popped up. I don't remember what I was looking at, but something popped up that I'm like, oh, this might be something interesting to bring up on the podcast. And I read through it. I'm like, this is not at all interesting. I'm like, the internet's boring, man. I can't.
Yeah, it ends up being let down quite a bit, I think.
Yeah, I felt like, and I guess maybe because it was so new and interesting, but man, the internet seemed like it used to always be so fun. And you're just like, yeah, I got to get on the internet and do all these crazy fun things. And it's just like, oh, the internet's just, I'm bored with it.
Well, when it's all you have to do, sometimes you just overconsume, and then you're like, is there anything else I could be doing with my life?
Yeah, that's why I find a lot of times I just end up sitting around watching YouTube, because I just like, well, I'll just throw something on here while I'm doing something else, and then I just stop doing something else, and I'm just watching YouTube videos for hours, and I'm just like, what have I done? Like, yeah, I'll spend an entire weekend just not doing anything and just realizing, oh, I just sat at my computer watching dumb videos all weekend. There's
so many days, like tomorrow is probably going to be one of them, where I'm like, okay, it's Monday, it's Labor Day, no work, got the whole day. I can get this done, this done, this done, this done, this done. And I know I won't start as early as I want to. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it'll be like 1 PM. I'm like, okay, I guess I should, if I'm going to do anything, I should probably start doing something now. Right. Otherwise it's just going to be 8 PM, and then it's all over.
Like yesterday, I literally forced myself to do some stuff, because I'm like, okay, I need to run to a grocery store because I need to get some stuff for work. So I'm like, I can do that, because I wanted to go for a bike ride yesterday, but yesterday ended up being a pretty hot day. So I'm like, oh, I'll wait. Sunday is supposed to be a lot cooler, and it wasn't supposed to rain today. So I'm like, I'll go Sunday. It'll be great. So I'm like, all right, cool. I don't have anything to do today. And then I'm like, I should really go to the store now. If I go to the store now, then tomorrow when I wake up and I realize I don't have to go to the store today, I'm like, that's going to be a great feeling. So I had to literally pep myself up to go run to the store and get some stuff. And then I got back from the store. I'm like, all right, my floors are dirty. I'm like, I need to clean my floors. So I was forcing myself to do it. So I'm like, yes. And that's the only way. Otherwise, I'm fucking horrible with that stuff. I will procrastinate until the cows come home, as the saying goes.
And we don't know when that's going to be.
No, because I've never owned a cow.
No.
So for one to come home to me, I'm going to have to get off my ass and purchase a cow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if one just shows up, like let's say you didn't purchase a cow, but one just shows up and says, "Hey, can I come in? It's been so long."
But then that wouldn't be the cow coming home. That'd be the cow leaving home.
Yeah. The cow would have already left home at that point.
Unless the cow's like, "Hey, I hear you need a roommate.
And I hear
I would like to look.
You've been inquiring about owning a cow and when they might come home.
I heard you.
I saw your flyer.
You're tired of buying milk all the time.
Yeah.
Because it always spoils before you drink it all, even though you only ever buy half gallons and you still can't seem to down the half gallons fast enough.
What do you use milk for?
Sometimes depending on a meal I make that requires milk, other times for cereal, other times for dipping my Oreos.
Oh, yeah.
I do enjoy having an Oreo in the house.
I never seem to get Oreos very often.
I just bought some the other day.
Ooh.
So I bought some milk to go with it. And I have until, I think I have 10 days to get that milk finished.
See, you should get Fairlife milk because they take the lactose out. Not that that has anything to do with you, but the expiration date on those things is way longer. You have way more time to drink that.
What's it called?
Fairlife.
Fairlife?
Yeah, you can get.
Where can you get that?
Grocery stores?
I've never seen it.
Oh, well, I see it in Target, Cub, Blunt's, Byerly's.
And it tastes just like regular milk?
It tastes fine. I think it's slightly different, but it's not like it's not like almond milk or some weird substitute of milk. It's milk.
Right.
The lactose is removed.
See, I'm typically fairly tolerant of lactose.
I am too.
Yeah.
Sometimes lactose makes some choices that I don't necessarily agree with, but as long as it's not hurting anyone else, I say you do you and I'll do me. But yeah. So largely I'm pretty tolerant, but there are some things that I've questioned.
Oh yeah, there was a point in time where milk was completely supportive and backing the Third Reich.
Yeah, which is
I was not for that.
Because this is decades after that was done with.
Oh yeah, it was in the 80s.
Yeah, the 1980s. So
it was weird because
time.
they were against the Cold War, but they were for the Third Reich.
Yeah, I don't get it. And we were impressionable young kids at that time, so we could have easily fallen into the wrong mentality on that whole topic. So it's good on us for staying on the straight and narrow.
Yeah.
So we know the 100th episode is coming up. We're not going to bore anyone with details about planning it and all that.
We've done plenty of that up to this point already.
But I will say that I've been sent something special for the 100th episode.
Really?
And I'm deciding if I want, because I haven't opened what it is. And so I'm deciding if I want to open it first or wait until we're doing it. And then we will both discover it together.
Interesting.
But that's something to look forward to. Episode 100. There's some special thing I've been sent that will be. Are you
going to reveal anything about it, like who sent it or what anything it said? Or
I'm not going to be specific. But it was sent by a very special individual. We'll just leave it at that.
Was that a special, like a key phrase that's giving a hint away?
No, I'm trying to be more vague and not give any hints, not give anything key away. I mean, you're not gonna. There's nothing. There's no way you're gonna figure out who sent this.
Okay, so it's somebody I don't even know, or it's somebody that. It's definitely somebody we've never had on.
It's 100% somebody we've never had on.
Okay.
It's 100% someone you don't know personally, but but I know of. It is 100% somebody that you are aware of.
Okay.
And I've been sent something very cool for our 100th episode. And so I have to decide, do I want to sit on this and not even check it out for myself beforehand? Because it's a few weeks away. So I think it might be more fun if I just wait. But
is it like a piece of audio or like a piece of writing or anything like that?
It's audio.
It's a piece of audio. Yeah. Okay. Ooh, I'm kind of excited. Like a special little message from somebody special.
I can only assume it's something like that, but yeah, it's a piece of audio. So God,
so this to me right now, this is going two ways. Either this is going to be something super cool by somebody that I'm like, that you, somehow that sent you something that might be kind of sort of famous, or you're 100% going to play some dumb shit that you made up.
I will. Okay. I will tell you.
Now I'm leaning towards that's what it probably is you made something.
All I'll tell you is this.
Oh, you fucker.
All I'll tell you is this. It's not the clip from Mac and Me.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So that's what I will say.
That wouldn't play well just audio alone anyways.
Now, he did that on Conan's podcast.
Oh, did
he? He played the audio clip on the podcast. Because
if you've seen the clip enough, the audio would be enough to do it, I think.
If you've seen the clip enough, and if you just are aware of the gag, right? You don't even need the video. You just know that.
I'm always aware of the gag.
You just know he's done it again. Like, you always know where the gag is. Like, if you need it quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know where that gag is.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about a ball gag, right? Both of us? Like, you know where your ball gag is at all times?
Yep. That's what we were talking about. Yep. I seriously, at this point, I feel like this is, I honestly feel like now you're fucking with me, but I'm hoping to be pleasantly surprised that you're not fucking with me and that it is something legit, but I feel like you're going to play something fucking stupid that you made up.
I'll just say this. You're going to love it. Whatever it happens to be.
Oh.
And I can say that without even checking it out for myself yet.
Okay.
You're going to love it.
I'm loving it.
Episode Uno Hundo, as we established a while ago.
Getting close. We are
close.
After this episode, 4 more episodes, and then it's 100.
So this one's 95. That's going to come out?
This is 95, I believe, yeah.
So, cool. So, what do you want to do the rest of this sesh here? Do we got time?
Now you're putting the pressure on.
We got time to do any more scary facts?
Oh, shit. Yeah. Holy crap. Give me a second. I'll get that shit pulled up real quick. I forgot all about that, to be honest.
Not me.
Where is it? Yeah.
Scary facts.
I gotta remember where we left off.
Scary facts.
So back to scarymommy.com, y'all.
Yo. I don't remember where we left off either.
What? Yeah.
Give me 2 consecutive whoops.
Whoop, whoop.
Thanks for those whoops.
Yep. Yeah, where did we leave off? Oh, I think I left off with 1/3 of murders go unsolved in the United States.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go on to the next and it sounds familiar, we'll just know to skip past it.
All right. I hope everybody's sitting down. Put on a fresh pair of underwear because you're about to soil yourself.
Why would you want to put on a fresh pair for that?
All right. Put on a fresh diaper.
Put on an old used. Put on a pair of underwear that's
put on a used T-shirt
that's already in your hamper.
Yeah.
I suppose
because you're about to.
Yeah, if you do a diaper, that's you want a fresh diaper or dirty underwear.
Actually, you know what? The best thing you can do right now, we'll pause the episode after I say what I'm about to say. Don't do it now. So if you pause it now, start playing it again.
They won't know to do that.
I know you hate it. I do that every time, but you hate it. Get yourself prepared and ready. Go sit on the toilet because we're about to scare the shit out of you.
Yeah, sit on that freshly installed seat.
Yeah, put your face on that freshly installed seat. All right. Here's the next scary fact. More than 80 million bacteria are exchanged in a single kiss. Think about that next time you give your date a kiss. Is it really worth it?
Yes. I imagine
it's super worth it.
I imagine the next time I might find myself in that position or situation, I will not be thinking about the bacteria exchange.
Plus, what a mood killer if you bring that up when you're about to kiss. Be like, hey,
well, do it after.
You want to know a crazy fact?
I mean, we're not dumb. I'm not dumb.
Oh, yeah,
do it after. By the way,
we just exchanged over 80 million bacteria.
Yeah, care to double it?
Yeah, care to double it?
Double it.
Yeah.
Where else would you like bacteria exchanged? Because I got more bacteria.
I got more kisses to give. If you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. More kinds. And
are you already sitting on the toilet?
Yeah, that's even better.
Yeah. So much bacteria.
Oh, you want me to leave? Okay.
Oh,
I get it. But hey, you want to do this again sometime? Bacteria.
Bacteria. Not the Activia thing. All right, anyway.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, so Jamie Lee Curtis, where are you?
I don't know why this fact is in. This is a fact or they're all facts. Never mind. Scary facts. This is everybody. I'm sure at this point everybody knows about this. I don't know why this is considered a scary fact.
Don't assume.
There was a chicken called Mike the Headless Chicken that lived for 18 months after its head was cut off. Everybody knows about that chicken that lived while its head was cut off.
I might have known that.
But why is that scary? I
guess it's the thought of just something walking around without a head on is morbid and could be it's something. I mean, if you put a human in place of that, it's much more terrifying.
Yeah.
I guess it's only scary if you're thinking of it in terms of like a horror movie where this thing might be coming after you. But if it's just that it's some wandering, aimless, headless body wandering around, it's just like, oh, wow, what a crazy phenomenon.
Yeah. And it's like, if this chicken doesn't have a head, I'm pretty sure it coming after you isn't really much of a problem. Like, it's not going to see where you're at. It's not going to hear you.
A chicken that still has its head coming after you, not much of an issue.
Also not super scary.
There's not a huge threat to a completely intact chicken lunging your way.
I mean, you could get pecked a bit. You could probably get scratched a bit.
Yeah.
It'll flap at you.
Yeah. So you might get a feather quill in your eye.
I mean, you could pick up some sort of a disease or infection from it. From like if it's got like poo on its talons and it scratches you and stuff.
Yeah, that could happen.
Yeah. But
then immediately turn to your partner to start exchanging some bacteria.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see if there's ever been a case of somebody being killed by a chicken.
There probably are. I mean, enough time has passed.
One chicken against one person.
There's been enough world history of humans interacting with chickens. You know it's happened.
Probably.
You know it has.
But like, I'm wondering,
are you throwing
in what sense of like the chicken physically attacked someone and killed it, or somebody somehow like died related to some sort of a chicken thing?
Are you ruling out like little children? Like if a toddler is near, or even maybe not even a toddler, but an infant somehow finds themselves going toe to toe with a chicken or toe to talon?
I guess I was thinking more of like an adult. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I would say maybe it's not so likely that there has been an adult that's been directly...
I'm sure it's very low numbers.
But I would be interested to find that out. But I have a feeling that if I try to find it out, I will not find what I'm looking for, because even though the internet is vast and has basically every piece of knowledge that exists, or at least that's been released to the public on it, sometimes when I'm looking for something specific like that, I can't seem to find it anywhere.
Right. Well, I found a thing. I just looked it up really quick. On average, a question that was posted of on average, how many humans are killed by chickens in a year?
And
let's see, there's a long answer here.
Now, why is this not on the scary facts list?
I don't know.
Because basically,
somebody says tens of thousands a year.
What?
Chickens kill so many humans a year, it's not funny. KFC deep fried chicken in face.
Are they talking about like cholesterol?
They're talking about eating chicken. I'm talking about
dumb.
Yeah.
But basically, the fact that so I was a little let down by that. I was hoping.
And then so this has to do with avian flu. Like 616 deaths from avian flu that was transmitted by chickens. But I'm talking about like,
and that's per year.
Chicken attacks.
That the 616 is per year.
I guess so.
Total. But so far, the fact that they did include on the scary facts list is a very non-threatening bird became less threatening for a while and then died.
Oh, well, there was a woman in Australia that got pecked to death by a rooster.
That counts.
And then there was a man in Florida that was jailed for killing a chicken he said attacked him. And then the next line under that is raccoon facts.
Oh, cool. Right. So someone got pecked to death by a rooster in Australia.
Yeah, a 76-year-old woman. I mean, if somebody's going to die from a chicken attack, it's going to be in Australia.
Because I'm sure Australian roosters are just massive and vicious.
And venomous.
Yeah, they probably have venom. in that little thing on their neck. Or like, that's a turkey.
Yeah.
Do roosters have a thing on their neck
roosters,
too?
I think roosters have one. Yeah, they have
the turkey has the one that droops over the beak too, right? The little beak thing. Birds are
little. Yeah, birds are weird.
Birds are. They say dinosaurs were more closely related to birds than they are to lizards.
Yeah,
or reptiles maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So now a lot of the times when they show what dinosaurs look like, they have feathers on them.
Yep.
I think someone just killed a chicken.
Probably.
Yeah.
They're headed to Florida.
Yeah. The Chicago police are on their way to Florida. Because that's their jurisdiction.
Babies grow mustaches in the womb that then spread to cover their entire body in hair called langugo. Their body hair keeps them warm and helps regulate body temperature. Don't worry, they shed it before birth. You just said it moves throughout their entire body. Why they shed it?
Well, they also are saying this is a scary fact, but don't be scared.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is not nothing on this list has been scary so far.
No.
From what I remember.
Yeah, oh no, it's much like Funniest Stories, John.
It's more like, hey, this is maybe interesting if you haven't heard it before.
Yeah, they're not scary.
These need to be from a time. This is maybe going back also to the funny stories. But maybe these are from a time where, like, let's say it was in the 40s or 30s, where people were a little more scared a little more easily. Or maybe some things were more funny than we think of them now.
People were more easily, like, they were easier to trick.
Yeah, way easier to trick.
And,
much more.
They just kind of believed anything.
Yeah, a lot more easy to convince that things are, like, these outlandish things are true and can really happen. But then you go back even further, it's even worse.
Yeah.
Because I saw some clips of Spaceballs recently.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, this didn't age well.
Yeah.
A lot of these jokes are not landing because to me, they're just not that funny.
Right.
And I'm sure at the time it was. But I think that once certain, like, barriers are broken with comedy, like if someone's really edgy and they push the boundaries a little bit, the boundary becomes bigger. So when you at the time, I think you have to have an affection for those things because they came out when they came out and you were around when they came out. Because you're like someone who was around I forget when that movie came out, sometime in the 80s.
Yeah.
Like that was probably pretty hilarious at the time. And so nowadays you're still going to think of it with that same level of affection and you think it's still as funny as it was back then. But someone getting introduced to it now. Yeah.
It's like the movie Airplane is probably the same way.
Yeah.
Of just like, at the time, and it's just a classic. It was, I don't know if it was one of the first spoof movies, but it was probably the first big one.
Yeah.
Of just like, people aren't really doing this kind of thing and stuff. So like, a lot of the jokes now, it's like kind of dumb of like, oh, I have a drinking problem, and he spills the drink all over himself. And, the Shirley, you can't be serious. I am serious. Don't call me Shirley.
And would you
stuff like that?
Do you think that line originated from that movie, or was that something that people said already?
That's the first place I ever heard it.
But just
I have no idea.
Like in Spaceballs, them calling it the Schwartz and not the Force,
right?
Like it's not. It doesn't hold up at all.
But your Schwartz is as big as mine.
But I think I did come back around on Holy Grail.
Okay, you feel better about it again?
I feel better about it again. I think I have to just love the absurd.
Yeah, I think it's kind of the way with Monty Python too. It's like if you absorb it so much, it probably does get to that point where you're like, okay, yeah, maybe it's just not hitting the way it used to.
Well, that one's the tough one because that one is the one that one was the huge one. Everyone knows that movie, and so people quoted it to death, and it's just it gets old, it gets stale, like Napoleon Dynamite or something.
Have you seen the
charm wears off?
movie?
And
have you seen the movie Top Secret?
I have not.
I believe it was Val Kilmer's first movie.
Okay.
It's a spy and war spoof movie.
Okay.
I watched it again a few years back. It kind of holds up in a lot of places.
What's it called?
It's called Top Secret.
Top Secret.
I would say check it out, and we can talk about it on here. But it's got some pretty clever stuff in it, and I don't want to. Yeah, I want you to watch it, so I don't want to really say much about it. But
All right.
I think you'd find. I mean, there's going to be parts of it. It's a spoof movie, so there's going to be parts of it that are kind of like, okay, whatever. But it's got some pretty good stuff in it, and it was kind of, I believe, the first kind of spoof movie of its type of like, spies and war and stuff like that. And I think it's supposed to take place during like World War II.
So his first movie. So this is somewhere early 80s or maybe late 70s. I forget.
Yeah, it was 84, I think, somewhere in there. So one of those movies that I watched a lot as a kid.
My intro to Val Kilmer, Batman Forever.
Really? You never saw like Top Gun or anything like that?
No, I haven't seen that.
Or other movies he was in prior to that?
And that's kind of shied me away from, because people are raving about the new Top Gun. And, but I have not seen the original. So I kind of feel like I should watch the original before I watch
I would.
This newest one. So, but again, I just haven't, I don't really care to that much. I'm not really just itching to see Top Gun.
Right.
But we all know about the famous volleyball scene.
Oh yeah.
And that they have the need for speed.
And the bar scene where they sing "You Lost That Love and Feeling."
That's right. And someone says that they take their breath away in song. Isn't that one of the songs from the movie? Take My Breath Away?
I don't remember.
By a female person.
Highway to the Danger Zone was a big one.
Yep.
In that.
Kenny Loggins.
Loggins and Messina.
Sorry.
Yeah. Jesus fucking Christ.
Kenny Loggins, he was a powerhouse for a while there.
Yeah. The 80s.
You know, I still say I liked our safety dance lip sync, but part of me always wishes we would have done "I'm All Right."
Yeah, I think that was the runner up, and it would have been a far less known song. But
I think at least our ideas for it would have been a little too complicated to pull off.
Oh, that would we were not prepared to pull off what we had in mind for it by any means.
I don't know if we've talked about this before, but just to clue everybody in case we haven't, we were in a class called the History of Drama in high school, and the semester would always end with the class putting on a lip sync show for the school. And so we had to pick songs and create our own sort of choreography for them and perform dancing during the songs and lip syncing the songs. And so we did Safety Dance, but one of the ones we were choosing that between was "I'm All Right" by Kenny Loggins.
I literally believe we've probably brought this up before because you explaining it just now was such deja vu for me.
Do you think I explained it before?
I may have. Well, because I've been going through episodes listening to clips, I may have just recently listened to a clip of you talking about it.
Now, was it me talking about choosing between Safety Dance and "I'm All Right"?
No, just the explaining what it was thing.
Got it.
Was what just hit me in the head again. I'm like, this sounds exactly like beat for beat how you previously explained it.
You know what I'm a little bummed about? I never got to see the reaction of our teacher Barb watching that thing where a bunch of people sent her like well wishes and videos about her birthday or something like that. I think it was. But yeah, so I sent her something to be part of it. But I never was able to access because I think maybe it was like a story or something that was only up for a day or something like that.
Right.
So I never got to see her reaction to watching all of that.
Okay.
Which is a bummer.
Yeah. You know, it really bums me out.
What?
It takes the death of 27,000 trees daily to make toilet paper for humans.
Do you believe that?
I don't know. I mean, to be honest, for the amount of humans that are on Earth and the amount of toilet paper that'll need to be made to wipe all those asses, 27,000 trees isn't that much.
Well, These remember there's the old, what is it? Half of a football field is cut down every second or some crazy football field-esque fact.
Some crazy fact that it's like, how do you...
Do you remember that at all? It was always like a football field is cut down every second in the rainforest or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
When I hear something like that and this one you just said about the toilet paper, first my mind went to, well, if you think a massive tree would probably produce a lot of toilet paper.
Yeah. What size trees are we talking about?
Yeah. Are we talking redwoods or something? But I was always thinking about that other football field one. There was like the rate at which trees are just getting cut down.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
always-
like, how do we have any trees left?
Right. I'm thinking, well, in a matter of like months, the world would be treeless, I think, if that were
Right.
actually true. And so I'm thinking the same thing with this whole, it said 27,000 trees
27,000 trees daily.
daily, right?
Daily.
Every single day, 27,000 trees are cut down to produce toilet paper. Do you really think that that is accurate?
I don't know. It's just under 10 million trees a year.
So I guess without having any idea of how many trees are estimated to be on the earth at any given moment,
Right.
it's hard to tell if that's a large percentage or a minuscule amount compared to the overall number of trees. I don't know. But to me, it just sounds like it's a made up number meant to be shocking. You muted.
Here's the other thing to think about too, though, is like a lot of the companies that probably make toilet paper probably like farm trees from a specific area and probably replant the trees.
Yeah.
So they have because I mean, trees are, the great thing about trees and wood is we use it for so much shit, but it's a very renewable resource.
Yeah. Very renewable.
So it's like, yeah, we're cutting a shit ton down, but we're probably, I mean, a lot of places that farm trees and do things that they replant their stock. So yeah, you have a field that you probably have several fields because you're going to cut the trees down at different ages depending.
Sure.
So you have, these trees are now 5 years old, so they're ready to get cut down. This field is 4-year-old trees, 3-year-old trees. These are new planted trees. We'll cut those down in 5 years. So you always have a field that you're farming and a field that you're growing.
It's
or
sustainable.
several fields that you're growing.
It's
It's a very sustainable resource. So yeah, it's terrible we're cutting down so many trees, but we're also replanting those trees to reuse them. So it's not like we're just going out wiping out forests. We're wiping out fields of trees that are being grown specifically to be products.
It's a
scare tactic.
It's another example of the liberal media manipulating us and twisting the facts and withholding certain bits of information to make us feel a certain way or the other.
Right.
And I'm tired of it. We know that farmers are way nicer to those trees.
Yeah.
And if this was something that was not sustainable, it would have shown itself by now. Because as far as I can tell, humanity has been using toilet paper for a little while now.
I mean, we've been using trees in a million different ways for a long time. More than a million different ways.
Right, but to be fair, this fact is referencing the amount that's used to produce toilet paper alone.
Right. True.
It's because you build one house. It's not like you used up the house and you got to buy a new roll of house,
Right.
It's not it's a one, you build it once, it's there for a substantial amount of time. So I think the reason that they're focusing on something like toilet paper is that toilet paper gets used up and then just flushed away, and it's constantly having to be repurchased, and then therefore more and more just need to get produced constantly because it's not a...
Yeah, why don't we talk about how much like copy paper we make every year? Because that shit gets, how much paper gets thrown out every, like, I print shit at work all the time on paper and, throw a bunch of it away, and I don't know. It's a waste either way.
I don't want to be shocking, but I'm going to confidently estimate somewhere between some and a lot.
That's quite a stance you're taking.
I know, and here's me just now bashing liberal media, and I'm doing something very similar myself.
Right.
Let's put it in a headline, clickbait. Let's get those clicks and those views and those likes. You remember there was the fad about I mean, maybe it still happens, but they'll in a little link for an article, they'll purposefully only be able to fit some of the headline.
Right.
It's like if you're to the point where you can't even show the whole headline because you're worried about people not clicking on it, you're like, we better cut off the headline. So they at least have to click on it to find out what the rest of the headline says.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that just is a demonstration of you not being able to properly format your link so that it shows the full headline. So
yeah, that or make a concise headline that can fit.
Right. So in a way, I know what you're trying to achieve, but if anyone really sits and thinks about it, it just shows that maybe you're showing to everybody that you're not competent enough in internet links or how websites are formatted that you can't successfully display a full headline in a link. We're all about the hot button topics today, Matt.
Oh my God. Yeah. Good for a chilly day.
Yeah. Well, it's not chilly here.
It's okay.
It's rainy there, but here it's 75.
It's not rainy. It's just cloudy. It's.
I don't know, Matt. I'm looking at my weather app for Chicago, and it is telling me that it's raining right now. So you are wrong.
It is not currently raining outside. I'm looking out my window, and it is not currently raining.
This digital display that shows me the current weather forecast has added the element of rain. So therefore, Chicago, it is raining.
Let me pull my shade up on my window that I'm sitting directly in front of, and not a single drop of rain.
Yeah, well, this is your word against mine, phone's word. And because no listener, not even me, let alone the listeners, I can't even see out your window. You're just looking out your own window, and then I'm supposed to believe what you tell me. 27,000 rolls of toilet paper get rained on every year. Matt is currently trying to turn his laptop around to show out of his window. It looks pretty sunny.
I've been lying this whole time. It's beautiful.
I didn't see any rain droplets running down the pane of your window.
It's true.
So I think, all right. I just broke my phone in half.
That was very quiet.
I just snapped it over my knee.
Did that very quietly.
I muted myself first.
No, you didn't. I've been watching you this whole time.
Well, we want the listeners to take my word for it and believe me. Just like you were wanting me to believe you about the lack of rain in Chicago.
Yeah, and I proved it.
Well, I can't. This is something we can't prove to them.
You can prove to me right now that you broke your phone in half by showing me your phone.
It's already in the trash. I took the trash out. It's already in the dumpster.
You never got up.
I got up to get my pen, and I'm like, I might as well throw away.
Episodes ago.
I might as well throw away this garbage bag that has my broken phone in it.
That was weeks ago that you went up and got that pen.
So yeah, but I'm not talking about the phone breaking part of it. I'm talking about whether or not I muted myself in order to do so. There's no way that we can show the listeners proof as to whether or not I actually muted myself to break my phone in half.
You literally said I lied about muting myself.
I didn't say that. And I'm telling the truth.
You said I did not. You said I am Sean, and I did not mute myself.
Now, this is something we can prove that that is not true, because they can listen to the episode and see and hear that I never said that.
You never said what?
Although, yeah, wow. This is, yeah.
Dude, that was clever. I almost got you.
Have you ever thought about, like, being an interrogator?
Oh,
you're so good at getting information out of people.
Right?
Like the reverse psychology?
Yeah, you know how many times I'd just be standing down on the road, be like, yeah, do it, jump.
Yeah.
This'll get him. Reverse psychology.
That'll make him rethink his choices.
Yeah. Life is hard.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
No one owns this car anyway.
We like that you took hostages.
Yeah. If you jump...
You don't want that helicopter.
If you jump, we'll give you the helicopter. We're talking about... It's like two different things all of a sudden. Yeah. There's someone who's about to jump off of the building, and then there's someone else who's hostages, who's trying to negotiate for a helicopter so they can release hostages.
It's somehow happened in the same building. Oh, there's a bank robbery, and somebody's trying to jump off the building at the same time.
Okay, so
they brought in us two as negotiators, and we're both like tag teaming.
Okay, are we tag teaming, or who do you? Do you think you'd be better at negotiating with someone who's taking on hostages, or someone who's about to jump off a roof?
Oh man, that's tough. Either way, like
I think I would be better.
Either way, if you fail, somebody might die. Right. So it's kind of rough.
I think I would be better at negotiating with the person who's trying to jump off a roof.
Okay, good. Because I was immediately thinking I would probably be better at somebody holding hostages.
You really think that?
Maybe.
Let me hear some things. What do you got?
Don't do it.
I'm
not prepared. I'm not prepared. See, if it was a real situation, I'd be prepared for this.
But what your example was something I could say to my guy. Don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that I'm better at telling him that than somebody else.
Sometimes with things like that, it's all about tone, right?
Yeah.
Like the way I say don't do it.
Knock it off.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
What if you think you're trying to say something that'll get down here right now? Wait, not like that. No.
Yeah, probably not the best. You know what I would probably do? So if it's a situation where it's somebody holding hostages.
Sure. Usually in a bank robbery. That's really
sometimes in those situations, like if you can figure out who the person is, right? Because sometimes, they don't hide who they are.
Sure.
If that was the situation where it's like, okay, I know it's this person. We found out who it is that's holding the hostages. We're trying to get them out. I would find their mother.
Oh.
And bring their mother there.
Their mother's dead.
And have their mother talk to them.
Their mother's dead already.
She's the one that's about to jump off the building.
Yeah. No, she's one of the hostages.
Oh shit!
So you're out of luck there.
That would be my approach potentially.
Your first thought. Your first idea.
That's my current first thought.
Yeah,
because it's like no matter what, I feel like people, unless somebody has a very strained relationship with their parents, you still never want to disappoint your parents in that sense.
Yeah.
So it's like even though you're gonna get caught and you're gonna have to go through court and all this shit, like your parents will probably be there to support you as their kid, even though you need to, you need to be responsible for what you did and deal with the repercussions of what you did. But it's like in that situation where like you're holding hostages and you're threatening to kill people. If I was in that situation and my mom came and talked to me, I'd be like, oh shit. Like,
I didn't think she was going to see this.
Yeah. Well, just like I can deal with it later.
Sure.
But dealing with it in the situation, it's like,
yeah,
all right.
Look, I planned on dealing with this later with the money I was going to buy my mom something very expensive, so she would hopefully not be mad at me for what I did.
Right.
But it could backfire completely, and your mom could show up and tell you to switch places with the jumper.
Yeah. Or she would come in and then she'd be like, let's help. I'm going to help you out.
Yeah. She tells the police
she grabs a gun.
She's like, look, I'm going to go in. Trust me. I'm going to go in. I'm going to sort this out with him.
I'm going to set him straight.
He's going to come out. But then they let her in unaccompanied, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she quickly joins your side.
Yeah.
I was like, why didn't you call me earlier?
Yeah.
I've done this before.
Been robbing banks for years.
Yeah. You got to shoot one of the hostages right away.
Yeah, to show
that
them
way they know
business.
You're serious. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But you don't really shoot them. You just act like.
And then your mom
fire some shots, and then you take that, or what you do is you take one of the hostages into a different room.
Sure.
You gag them so they can't make any more noise
with the ball gag.
And then you fire a couple. Exactly. Yeah. And then you fire a couple shots, and then everybody thinks that person's dead.
And you tell one of the hostages to yell, "Oh my God, he's dead."
Well, no, you take person away from the.
No.
You take that person away from the other hostages.
Oh, you make them
so
think.
They don't know.
Oh,
yeah, so that way they think. So all the hostages think you've killed somebody, and that way they stay in line.
Gotcha. And then you let a headless chicken run around outside the bank to make them think you really did something.
Mm-hmm.
But then your mom pretends to be a hostage. She goes out and she's the one who's, listing your terms and things like that. But she's really in on the whole thing.
Right.
Yeah. This is great. What a scary fact.
Wait, when did I become the person that was keeping the hostages and not talking somebody out of?
So you're saying 27,000 trees a day are cut down to make toilet paper? That's terrifying.
It's awful.
That's awful. See you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.
We are on TikTok now, which makes us even cooler. HS Famous. Find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at HS Famous Pod. Email us directly at highschoolfamous@gmail.com. We have Patreon too, but you'll never go there. Altogether, our hearts beat as one.